quick, if you don't mind, give me 2 minutes. I swear.
I can give you like 15 seconds, but
Okay,
we are going
well,
to talk to Kamala supporters later if you do come back.
I'm going to be
easier.
live at the Kamala rally in about 2 hours. So that's why
noted.
I wanted
Cool.
to share. Yes, there's a Kamala rally in Las Vegas tonight. I'm going to be going live. And if any of your followers would like to enjoy this, I would
Got it.
appreciate it. It's a VIP only,
Got
a
it.
very small
All
amount
right.
of people.
Thank you,
So,
Grandma D. I appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
up. Thank you. Come back on later as well when you do go live and let us know. All right, let's get up our first guest. If you are voting for Donald Trump, join the guest request and let's have a conversation. If you're voting for Kamala Harris, hit that like button, hit the share button, help us get to 30,000 likes. We are going to be talking to Kamala supporters later today, so feel free to stick around for that. Hello, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yep.
And why so?
Well, being as the economy was more affordable, groceries, gas, housing.
Can you break that down a little bit? Let's start off with like groceries, for example. What is the inflation rate today?
So what were you paying for a gallon of milk 4 years ago?
Pardon me, if I may. What is the inflation rate today?
Yeah. What has Kamala Harris done,
Sir,
in the 4 years she's been with Biden?
You're pivoting.
Paint your fingernails pink. Paint your fingernails pink.
Oh gosh, you're getting this angry right off the bat. What did I do to you?
I'm not even angry.
Excuse me, pardon me. Take a step back. What really? Let's just one-on-one here. I asked you for the inflation rate. If you don't know, there's no shame in just saying, I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't need to get so deeply angry and start insulting
I don't know.
somebody. Right?
I'm the farthest thing from angry.
No, you were deeply angry and insulted.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I understand
think it's laughable.
why, but that's okay, right? Intelligence is needed if you're going to have these conversations. And if you lack that simple intelligence, I don't know what to tell you. Like, sorry?
So you're going to keep
So
rambling?
anyway, the inflation rate today is 2.4%. You would know that if you had
it's way
intelligence.
more than that. It's way more than
you're
that.
so, you know what? Go fact check me. Get a source.
Go
get a source.
Are you going to let me speak?
Get a source.
You're going to be a liberal.
Go fact check me.
You're going to keep being a liberal and interrupt.
Go get a source. I'm not playing with you. The inflation rate is 2.4% today. You just said it's way higher than that. Get a source. Technically, it's 2.1%, but you're not going to get a source? So again, the inflation rate is 2.4%, technically 2.1%. You don't want to get me a source that says otherwise?
Where are you getting where's your source coming from?
Sure, NBC News, Fox News, the government, also MSNBC News, CNN, USA Today. Can you get me a source that says otherwise? I also said Fox News. I understand that you don't like CNN because you're a sheep. But again, the fact is Fox News reported on this as well. So can you get me a source that says the inflation rate's higher than... Oh, he ran away! Let's get some cow emojis in the chat. No! No! We got a runner. We got a runner. Wow, that was pathetic. He really came up here, started crying. I asked him one question and he ran away. What happened? Why are they like this? They know that they're about to lose the election. That's why they're like this. Hello, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Hi. Yeah.
Okay, and why
Can
are
you
you
hear
voting
me?
for a criminal? Did you just ask if I could hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I wish I couldn't, but I guess I have to. So why are you voting for the criminal?
Well, I don't know. First of all, I'm Canadian. I don't know if it matters.
Are you an American or are you Canadian?
No, just a Canadian that's been...
Okay, so next time somebody comes here from outside of the country, I'm going to do a Boston Tea Party. Yeah, Donald Trump is doing real well. The only voters he has are Canadians. Yeah, he's going to win this election. Oh, yeah, because he's got that Canadian vote locked up. You know you need people eligible to vote to win an election, right? Come on, man. Like,
oh,
what is that? Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Sorry, hit the wrong button.
Oh, you're good. Have a good one. Let's get some W's in the chat for our Kamala supporters, please and thank you. Our Kamala supporters deserve so much love. I love our community. We really do got the best community, don't we? Hi, Trinity. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
I am not actually.
Hello, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yes, I am.
Gotcha, and why so?
Only because.
How old are you?
Camila doesn't have.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
When were you born?
04.
Okay, and you're voting for a criminal because?
He's not a criminal.
He is.
I would
Can you
like
tell
to
me
say
why he's
that
not a criminal?
Camila just doesn't have the.
Excuse me. I don't care what you have to say about Kamala as somebody who's advocating for a felon, right? I quite literally, when you're going to advocate for a felon, you're not going to tell me what you think a prosecutor lacks. Kamala's the prosecutor, led the largest Department of Justice,
but
second only
I
to
just
the U.S.
feel like,
Department
you
of
know what I'm
Justice.
saying? Like, he has more experience, and he just has that money, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't really.
Go call mommy. Also, his age wasn't really adding up. He would have to have a very specific birthday to have that age and birthday as mentioned. But anyway, hello, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yeah,
And why?
because he would run the economy and run this country better than Kamala would.
I mean, yeah, he definitely ran the economy into the ground. I'm glad that you agree. So can you tell me one economic policy that Donald Trump passed that benefited middle-class Americans?
Try the fucking no tax on tips.
He didn't pass no tax on tips. And you know that Bernie Sanders was advocating for no tax on tips long before Donald Trump. So you're advocating for a socialist party policy. You understand? So tell me again,
You know what's
besides,
funny?
excuse me, besides you
You over here
advocating to
trying
be a
to debate with
socialist, I'm
people,
trying
but
to
you're not
better
letting a single
understand
person
something. I asked you
even
for an
say a
economic
single word.
policy. I asked you for an economic policy that Donald
Almost gonna
Trump. You're
lose.
speaking over me, so you're not going to learn, right?
Yeah.
Again, you were asked
you
for an
won't.
economic policy that Donald Trump passed, and you named something that he hasn't passed.
Trump
So what's a
2024.
policy he passed? You can't name it, can you? And he ran away. Moo! Moo! Let's get some cow emojis in the chat, please, for our runners today. They're really running a marathon. This is getting pathetic. Let's get up our next guest. I'm like, tell me a policy that Donald Trump passed that economically benefited middle-class Americans. And he named something that he didn't pass. Like, what's going on? Oh my gosh. Hello, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump? Hi, Omar. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yes.
Gotcha. And why do you hate America?
Who say I hate America?
Oh, I just assumed because you were voting for Donald Trump. I mean, you typically all, MAGA Republicans, you guys typically do hate America, right? That's why you guys did that insurrection. And
No, I don't.
You
I don't
know.
hate America.
no, okay.
I want to talk about you and me.
Hold on. So let me get this right. You're walking around saying you're voting for Donald Trump. Where's that accent from?
From Central America.
Gotcha. And so do we see the first discrepancy with the statement that you're voting for Donald Trump?
Yes, I
So when
voted
he
for-
builds that wall, which side are you going to be on?
the wall has got nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The only thing that I would like to ask you is, how old are you?
Me? How old am I? I'm 61. Turned 61 just yesterday. Happy birthday to me.
You see, you play game. I don't like people who playing games.
Excuse me?
You playing game. How old are you?
I said 61.
You're not 61. So
What do you want me to say? What?
The truth.
I'm 61.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, why are you voting for Donald Trump?
Because he's a man.
Yo, dude, at least you know that you're sexist and misogynistic, right?
No,
I mean, you didn't
no,
even hesitate.
no,
So let me
I don't-
understand this. On behalf of everybody in this channel, let me make something clear. You're coming up here and saying you're voting for Donald Trump solely because he's a man. He's not really a man, right? I wouldn't consider him a man whatsoever. He has no courage. He has no strength. He has no intelligence, right? But Kamala is a woman, which is why she is kind, caring, intelligent, bright, brave, true. And it's exactly why she's going to be president. Because you say Donald Trump's a man. Oh, and what does that lead us with? Him being a felon, sexual abuser, and a civil fraudster? Yeah, I'd rather not have the man then, right? I'd rather have the woman, the prosecutor, the attorney general, the district attorney, the senator, the vice president. I'd rather have Kamala Harris. But you keep sundowning. You keep sundowning. Let's get up our next guest. Hi, Frank. Frank, did you just fall off your stepladder? Are you okay? Silly goose. Frank, don't live stream and drive, silly goose. Silly goose. That was silly goose behavior right there. Come on, Frank. Frank was climbing over the wall. Fell on the other side. Hi, Margie. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yep.
Ew. You okay? You're not talking much. It might be time to put down the cup, don't you think? Ran away. Apparently she disagreed. She was like, nah, I'm going for round 2. Man, put down the cup. Let's get some cow emojis in the chat, please. Moo. We got a runner. Let's get up our next guest. Goodness gracious. Hello, how are you?
Why? I was just wondering, but like,
Pardon me.
why
wait
are
one second.
you
It's
voting?
waking up just a little bit. Let me fix it
Okay.
for you. Fetus deletus. Oops.
Pillows for only
Hi,
$9.
Marlene, how are you?
MyPillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use
Marlene, are you listening to ads that are trying to rip you off?
that number on TV, including my standard size.
Marlene, don't call the number.
88. They've never been offered this low before.
Marlene, turn off the shopping channel.
This price, so limit's going to be 10. And
Marlene, if you're listening to My Pillow, I can assure you, My Pillow doesn't work. May I recommend getting a pillow from anywhere else? Even the dumpster might be more comfortable. Oh, bye, Marlene. She ran away. Sad. Hello. Okay, and he ran away too. Y'all really just coming up here to run away, huh? Trumpers are coming up here,
why
smelling
did
the
you
roses
throw
real
me
quick and
off?
running away.
Like, I didn't even say anything.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. You're right. Hold on. Do you hear me all right?
Don't throw me off.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool, perfect. Then you'll hear this. Fetus deletus. Poof. And he ran away. Let's get up our next guest. If you are voting for Donald Trump, join the guest request and let's have a conversation about it. If you're voting for Kamala Harris, hit that like button, hit the share button, help us get to 100,000 likes. I would greatly appreciate it. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Hey, what was the inflation rate in 2022?
Paul, before you start asking me questions and you want to ask me out on a date,
No, what was
you might
it?
as well take a step back and answer my question.
What
Are
was
you
it?
voting for Donald Trump?
What was it?
Paul, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yeah,
Okay, why are you voting for Donald Trump?
because we don't have a 8% inflation rate.
Yeah, what's the inflation rate today?
Hey, matter of fact,
Did you
what
just
was
say, excuse me, what's
how-
the
how
inflation
high-
rate today?
how
What is the
high-
inflation rate today?
what's the
What is
highest?
the inflation rate today?
2.4.
Okay, thank you. What was it in 2018?
Okay, and what was it
Excuse
under
me,
Donald
what
Trump?
was the inflation rate under Donald Trump 2018?
Yeah,
Pre-pandemic,
2.4.
what was it? Thank you so much.
2.4 was his
Okay.
highest.
So let's better, it wasn't his highest, thank you, but that was his average. So 2.4% was Donald Trump's average. 2.4% is exactly what it is today. So your point? So inflation's the same. Thanks, you just pointed it out. You know you're on mute right now, right? Okay, can we get some clown emojis in the chat? Paul, whenever you figure out how to operate that mute button, if you could unmute yourself, that'd be great. Whenever you're ready. Hello? Hello? Whenever whenever you're ready, if you could unmute, that would be great. Come on, Uncle Daddy, unmute. I ain't got all night. Uncle Daddy, unmute. Let's go. Well, dang. What am I supposed to do here? Antonio, thank you so much for the $10, man. I appreciate the love. Thank you, Antonio. Oh, there you go, Paul. You figured it out. Good boy. So, Uncle Daddy, let me better understand this then. Are you suggesting
Uncle Daddy.
costs are higher on groceries today?
Do what?
Do what? Are you suggesting the costs are higher on groceries today?
Do what? Do you suggest higher groceries today?
I would say so at 8%.
Was that your sister wife?
I would say so at 8%. I mean, they would be higher.
The inflation rate
right?
today is 2.4%. You just admitted that. It was also 2.4%
in 2022.
Excuse me.
What was it in 2022?
You're showing your blatant ignorance. Do you understand
Matter
why
of
there
fact,
might be
in the last 20 years.
Paul, quiet more. Again, the highest inflation rate you saw was in 1980 at 14%. Okay? During the pandemic, you saw an inflation rate reach a peak of 9%. The reason for that is because of the global pandemic. Hold on, Pookie, listen closely. The inflation rate reaching 9% is not Joe Biden's fault. That would actually be, honestly, by your logic, and I mean this sincerely, by your logic, that would be Donald Trump's fault because it was his pandemic response that led to the economic agency that Joe Biden inherited, right? The same way that Barack Obama gave Donald Trump a strong economy. And so at the get-go of his administration, he had a low inflation rate thanks to Barack Obama. So when you say, why did Joe Biden at the get-go of his administration have a high inflation rate? Well, first off, he was still in the midst of a pandemic. Like in 2022, you were still dealing with the Delta variant, right? Which was, one of the most dangerous variants. And also, you had a pandemic response that led to a global catastrophe, in part because of Donald Trump as well, right? We had a higher unalive rate and a higher infection rate because of Donald Trump in America, right? And then you MAGA Republicans use that as like your talking point, right? You guys run around saying, well, immigration was lower under Donald Trump. Sure as heck, yeah. Why would people be crossing our border? Why would people be crossing our border when all that's waiting for them in America at that time was a closed economy and disease? Oh yeah, sure. Nation of opportunity, my ass. All that they had was disease. All we had at that time was disease and a closed down economy. So help me better understand this, man. Can you tell me one economic policy that Donald Trump passed that benefited the middle class? Whenever you're ready. Go ahead. Go on. Whenever you're ready. Uncle Daddy, you're on mute. Uncle Daddy, you're on mute. Fa la 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 la.
Hey man, why don't you come up with your own little sayings?
Can you tell me
instead of somebody else?
Economic policy is that he passed that benefited middle class Americans? Whenever you're ready.
Can you come up with your own little name calling shit?
Economic policy that Donald Trump
just
passed that benefited the middle class.
Watch other videos and copy somebody else's stuff.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you just answer the question? I'm going to ask you one more time, and then we're going to bippity boppity boop you out of here faster than Donald Trump's going to get bippity boppity booped into a prison cell. One more time.
But still somebody else's shit.
I'm going to bippity boppity boop you out of my live stream now because you ain't answering the question. I get it. You don't know a single policy that Donald Trump has ever passed. So, Paul, can you at least admit that you know nothing and that you are ignorant? Can you do us that favor? You won't name a single policy that Donald Trump economically passed to benefit middle-class Americans. If you don't know, then admit it. Admit you know nothing. Go ahead. Come on. Will you do so? Come on, Uncle Daddy. Unmute. Do so. Admit. Admit you don't know. Can we get some he don't know in the chat, please? Let's get some he doesn't know, he don't know in the chat, please. Paul, prove us wrong. Prove that you know anything. You've had more than enough time to Google. You've had more than... Oh, and he ran away. Let's get some cow emojis in the chat. No! I'd like to have a normal conversation with somebody, but none of these MAGA Republicans are actually willing to conversate. They're just coming up here crying about why their parents left them and crying about how, like, you know, oh, something, I got a crush on Hunter Biden and I don't want to admit it and something like that. And I just like, I don't got to deal with all that. Like, come on, just talk about the policy. It really, like, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes by how much they're crying. Like, it's insane. Like, yeah, real patriots, you guys can't even talk about a policy your candidate passed. But okay, sure, you're the patriots. You sure as heck are losing like the patriots. So you voting for? Ew, I don't like that voice. I'm just gonna move on. No offense, but the second I heard it, I was like, no, can't listen to that for 15 minutes. Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Hey, what's going on? Yes, I am.
Gotcha. How old are you?
24.
Gotcha. Did you vote in the last presidential election?
I did.
And did you vote for the criminal?
Come on, man. I voted for Trump, and no, not a criminal.
And so now Donald Trump is a convicted felon on 34 felony counts, not according to me, but according to his lawyers and the unanimous jury that his lawyers appointed. Donald Trump was also found liable of sexual abuse and found liable of civil fraud. Can you break down why you would vote for the criminal instead of the prosecutor who would typically prosecute criminals like Donald Trump?
So I am going for Donald Trump because, as I was since 2016, he's an outside candidate, right? So you have a lot of these politicians.
He's been running for president for a decade. He is the establishment.
Like the Democrats.
You
like
understand he is the establishment.
You asked me a question, so I'm
yes, and you just said he's an outside candidate, but he's not. Oh, yes, it is.
I would like to respond.
Yeah, so let me better understand this. You recognize that Donald Trump is the establishment.
This is what you people do. You have to like overtalk people. I'm literally going to answer your question.
If by you people, you mean Americans,
I'm going to answer the question.
Listen closely. You just said that Donald Trump was an outside candidate. He's an inside candidate. He's been running for the presidency for a decade and was president. He's, by definition, an establishment career politician now. When you run for office for 10 years, okay, dude, come on. Let's not act like he's the outside candidate. He's been running since I was in middle school. Let's stop playing, okay? So why are you voting for the criminal?
So I can answer the question as soon as you act like an adult and you can let
me think about that.
Just invited on to answer the question.
Listen, if you want to cry, just do it in this cup. Because then we can save the tears and ship them off to like Utah for the next round.
MSNBC, low viewership, low everything.
Listen, if you want to cry, just do it in this cup.
I'm not crying. So I guess honestly, you don't have mature discussions with people that
anyway, can you hurry up and just respond? Why are you voting for the criminal?
Talk and talk. You're just
and
saying
all
bullshit,
you MAGA Republicans do is cry. Listen, stop being a snowflake.
Nobody's crying. You're the one that's crying, and you're bringing up things that are ridiculous. Okay,
why are you voting for the criminal? Can you just hurry up and respond?
Can you just get me off of this thing?
Are you going to run away? Let me get my cowbell before you do. Oh, you're going to say... Oh, he got it. Let's get some cow emojis in the chat. No! We got a runner. Let's get some cow emojis in the chat for a runner. We got a runner, everybody. Folks, let's try to get up our next guest. Hopefully we get somebody up here who's maybe, not sundowning. All I did was ask him a question. I don't understand the whole, like the crying. Hi, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump? Hello? Okay. I don't want to talk to you either. Not the first time I got ghosted, and it certainly won't be the last. Hi, Stacy. How you doing? Stacy? Okay. I told you guys it wouldn't be the last time I get ghosted. So sad. Do I scare people? Is it me? Am I the problem? Am I the drama? Am I scared?
Oh my gosh. I just want to say I love your live, and I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
have a good one. Let's get up our next guest. That right there, I'll tell you what, this is why I love our generation, like Gen Z, millennials as well. Y'all, we are productive. Let me tell you something. We come up here, we're like, love your live, peace. And then it's like, peace. Same way we vote. We're like, all right, here's our ballot, go. We're just very quick with it. I like how it's we're like, boom, next. Boom, next. We do not play. We run up, we get shit done. I like us. Good for us. Good for our generation. It's efficient. We walk right up. We're same with how we text instead of call, and we're just send, go. We're impatient. I love it. Hi, guys. You voting for Donald Trump?
Yes, I am.
Gotcha. And are you talking to us from the year 1990? Are you using a Nokia device? What is with the? It sounds like you're like that guy from Scream in the black cloak. What's the voice going on? You got a voice.
It might be my AirPods. I'll take them out real quick. Sorry.
It might be time to throw them out after you take them out.
Is this better now?
Debatable. I don't know if that was better or worse. Anyway, so why are you voting for the criminal? How old are you?
I'm 18.
So is this your first time voting? What year were you born?
I was born in 2006.
Gotcha. And you're voting for a criminal because?
Well, I just agree with his policies more, and I don't think him being accused for anything is going to impact like how the presidency will go.
He wasn't accused. He was convicted. 34 felony counts, liable as sexual abuse and liable as civil fraud. Right? And we're not talking about a couple dollars or a couple $100 at the dollar store, right? We're talking about $488 million, give or take a couple dozen million. And I should know because I'm the guy who programs the website he uses to track his debt down to the penny. So let's not, beat around the bush with this nonsense. Let's get right to it. You're voting for the criminal based off of policy. What kind of policy are you talking about? Is it economic, immigration?
Yeah, both. Can we start on immigration first?
Sure. What is his border policy?
Yeah, sure. Are you familiar with what Remain in Mexico is?
Pardon me. I asked you what is the border policy he's running on, and the Remain in Mexico Act was ruled unconstitutional by his own Supreme Court. He can't re-implement it, so let's stop playing. I want to say a massive thank you to Nicole. Nicole, if we could please get like 1,000 W's in the chat for Nicole. She just sent the kindest message and $50 over Venmo. That was beyond kind. Thank you so much, Nicole, for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yes, let's get back into it. What is Donald Trump's border policy? If you don't know, just tell me. There's no shame in not knowing it, but I just need to know if you don't.
Okay, so what he's going to do is change the way that seeking asylum works at the border, and he's also going to
He's going to what?
So right now at the border, if you're seeking...
No, I'm asking you for his policy, not Kamala's.
His policy?
Correct. What is Donald Trump's border policy? What is he running on?
He's running on... I'm not familiar with that Remain in Mexico was considered unconstitutional.
Excuse me. What is he running on right now?
Well, I think when he gets in office, he's going to re-implement Remain in Mexico.
What? He's not running on Remain in Mexico. What policy is he running on right now? If you need help, look no further than the chat, because that's what us Democrats do. We help others, which is why they're writing it in the chat for you if you don't know.
He can't, are you asking for a specific act or what he's going to do?
Yes, I'm asking you for his policy, yes.
Okay, sure. He's going to increase security at the border and
no, he's not.
Deport people.
Excuse me, sir. We're already deporting people. It's called deportation. We're already doing that. That's not new. That's not revolutionary. Also, you're saying he's going to add more border security members to operate okay. No, he's not. He also shut down the border deal that would have accomplished that very act. If I tell you his border policy,
let's go back to that border deal for a second.
No, let's get right back into this. If I tell you his policy, because you clearly don't know it, will you tell me what you do and don't support?
I support a strong border where illegal immigrants aren't allowed into the country.
Do you want to build the wall?
Yes, if that
okay. Do you want, and I just need yes or no's, do you want to add the 2,000 border agents that you were referring to? Do you want to pay for those salaries to monitor the wall?
Yes, but I know where this is going. Can I just...
Great. No, you may not. You may not. Do you want to cap immigration?
What do you mean by cap it? Like legal immigration?
Sure. You have 300,000 people come over today illegally. They add $300 billion to our economy. You say, oh, I like that money. Let's have them come in legally. However, we're going to cap it to ensure the system's not overwhelmed.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. Do you want to block illegal asylum seekers? This is ILL, not LE.
Legal asylum seekers?
No, I just said ILL, not LE. Keep up.
What are you referring to then?
Illegal asylum seekers.
What's the definition of a legal asylum seeker?
Somebody who comes here as an undocumented immigrant and then says after getting detained, no, I was seeking asylum.
What's your definition of asylum?
That is the definition. That is what I'm telling you. If you want a textbook definition of what asylum means too, feel free to look so. So again, I'm asking you, do you want to block illegal immigrants from seeking asylum?
No.
Okay, so you want illegal immigrants to come into the country. Got it. Do you want to give millions of dollars to border states to further fund the border how they see fit? Donald Trump calls this states' rights.
Giving money to border states to increase border security?
Correct.
Yes, that's a good thing. Why?
Okay, so you're saying yes to the wall, yes to the 2,000 border agents, yes to the cap on immigration, and yes to the millions of dollars for border security agencies. That is Kamala's plan, the only plan that you disagreed with on our policy point and border package was that you believe we should have more illegal immigrants. You said you don't want to block illegal immigrants from seeking asylum. So you advocated. I said illegal. I spelled it for you, and I said it 3 times. No, don't play. Don't play. I said it 3 times, and I spelt it. Stop it. I spelt it for you and explained it. Stop playing. So you advocated until I started calling this out as to how stupid it sounds. This is what you just said, right? You can't turn on it now just because you realize how stupid it says when you say it out loud. You just endorsed Kamala's border policy in its entirety. And I said illegal immigrants. I even spelt the word ILL for you. And you said, no, you want illegal immigrants coming in seeking asylum. I'm sorry. So you're advocating
if they're seeking asylum, they're not illegal. They are.
There is legal asylum. And then there's illegal asylum. I broke this down and I explained it to you. Don't act like you didn't know now. So why are you advocating for more illegal immigrants coming into our country? And second, may I also ask you to now endorse Kamala Harris on our border policy? Because that's what you just did. You might as well own up to it. Folks, if you like what you're hearing today, feel free to support me. My Venmo and PayPal are in my bio. I want to say a massive thank you to Thomas as well. Thank you for the love, Thomas, on PayPal. I appreciate it. Will you endorse Kamala on our border policy?
I don't endorse the CARE Pact, the border bill that you're.
So you're not going to endorse Kamala Harris's border policy, even though you just supported every single point, except where she wanted to block illegal immigrants from seeking asylum in our country. You said we should let illegal immigrants in.
If Kamala's going to do all those things,
that sounds absolutely insane.
Okay. First of all, I would just like to make it clear that I didn't mean that. I just misheard you.
I spelt it to you. I spelt the word out, and I explained what it meant, and I said it 3 times. Don't tell me you didn't know what I said. I spelt it.
I heard E instead of I.
No, because I spelt it for you. I spelt the word. I said, I want to be clear, this is not legal, it's illegal. That's ILL, not LE. That was word for word what I said. So what are you talking about that you misunderstood?
Okay, I'm sorry, I misheard you. I wasn't paying attention.
That's not misunderstanding. You're just saying now that you misunderstood because you realize how stupid it sounds when somebody says out loud that you just advocated for letting illegal immigrants come into the country to seek asylum. I said it 3 times. So let me better understand this then.
Sure.
Will you endorse Kamala on our border policy?
Sure, I do. But can we move to a different topic?
Let's talk about the economy. Tell me one economic policy that Donald Trump passed that benefited middle-class Americans.
Sure. He is going to implement tariffs on other countries.
I said one policy he already passed that economically benefited middle-class Americans.
Okay, the jobs and tax cuts that he did and deregulations during his term.
The Jobs and Tax Act of 2017 led to an $8 trillion debt. It also provided a 14% corporate tax deduction. A 14% corporate tax deduction to those who were already making record high profits like Microsoft. Additionally, it gave a 1 to 2% tax cut to middle-class Americans. So when I ask you for a policy that economically benefited middle-class Americans, maybe don't talk about the policy that was focused on corporations and multi-billionaires. Additionally, I want to better understand this. You mentioned tariffs. Donald Trump's original tariffs were garbage, and it's exactly why Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis ran against him. For example, he put a 15 to 25% tariff on agriculture. This led to farmers losing China as an export market. They had a surplus and supply and demand issue and passed off rising costs to middle-class consumers through small businesses, like the one that I used to operate that depended on produce. So costs of middle-class Americans went up by $230 billion. Why are you advocating for that?
Okay, first of all, on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it did provide tax cuts for middle
Yes,
class.
And I said it did. Did I stutter?
Does that benefit middle-class Americans?
The 1 to 2% tax cut? No.
Yes. It doesn't.
No, not when they're losing more money out of pocket from Donald Trump's tariffs, which is a key portion of the tax policy. So again, for example, Donald Trump gave a 14% corporate tax deduction to corporations, 1 to 2% to the middle class. But the middle class is paying off the $8 trillion debt it added to our national deficit. So no, we lost more money than we got back into our pocket. You lost more money out of pocket than you got back from his tax cut. Then he also increased tariffs, and this led to an additional $230 billion tax hike on middle-class Americans via the agriculture tariff and other tariffs as well.
Just back to your point on the 2017 thing, you said it led to an $8 trillion
debt, correct?
So
not in its entirety. Now, some of that also came from the pandemic, but most of that came from that policy.
From that one policy.
Correct.
Okay, so how come...
Fun fact, when you give corporations multi-billion-dollar tax cuts, somebody's got to pay for that. It was you, well, not you. It was your parents, me, and everybody in this chat. But now you're at the voting age and you're able to vote yourself. So you can fix what MAGA Republicans in 2016 did when they elected Donald Trump by now electing Kamala Harris to ensure we do not go back.
Can I just explain what his tariff plan is currently?
Yes, he wants a 60% tariff on China and a 10% tariff across the board. You don't need to, because I'm well aware. 10% across the board, 60% on China. And he wants to re-implement some of those tariffs exactly like that 15 to 25% tariff on agriculture. And once more, this is exactly why Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis ran against him, because they knew that he was going to advocate for this. Now, again, this isn't me saying it. So if you don't like a Democrat talking about the tariffs, everybody in the chat as well, please recognize that this is Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley saying this. I am simply repeating after fact-checking them to ensure they were accurate. And they were.
Okay, but his current...
Do you know what his tariffs will lead to?
What will it lead to?
How much will it cost middle-class Americans, his tariffs? What will it lead to? How much will I be paying out of pocket? You tell me.
Like per good? I'm not really sure what you're trying to say.
$3 trillion additionally added to our debt and $2,500 to $3,900 taken out of the pockets of middle-class Americans every single year. That is according to Penn Wharton economists from Donald Trump's own alma mater.
So you're saying that his economic plan will just lead to more debt and...
Correct.
More
debt, higher costs.
But when he's saying that we should take away the income tax as well too, right?
Which is fine and dandy. If he turns around and says that we're going to take away the income tax, that is going to toss pennies at us in comparison to the debt that he's going to add to our national debt and the additional thousands of dollars he's going to take out of our pocket every single year. This is a carbon copy. This is a carbon copy of his 2017 platform. So Donald Trump in 2017 said, I'm going to give you a tax cut, gave us 1% to 2%. Then hiked up costs through his tariffs, exactly that 15 to 25% tariff on agriculture, which increased costs by $230 billion, and the additional $3 to $5 trillion he added to the debt. So we lost more money than we took in, but we saw more money in our pay stubs, so we thought he was giving us money. Technically, he was. Then we lost more because of his garbage policies. Again, this isn't me saying this. This is Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis saying it. I simply fact-checked them and then came to the conclusion they were accurate after I met with numerous economists on the subject, including Penn Wharton economists. Then again, you look at Donald Trump now. He's doing the same thing, saying, I'll cut your income tax or I'll cut your overtime tax. He's going to throw pennies in your pocket. That wasn't generous enough. He'll throw $100 in your pocket, and then he's going to take out thousands of dollars via his tariffs and tax cuts for corporations. The debt will go up again. Costs will go up again. And you will think you're getting more money in your pocket because it's on paper in your pay stub. But at the market, you're going to lose more out of pocket. And you won't notice it on your receipt when you toss it in the garbage. That's the difference here. It's a carbon copy. He's already done this. It's not a hypothetical. He's just doing it again. He took the same plan and all he did was change the name from the middle class tax cut to the income tax cut. It's the same exact thing word for word. He just copy paste, changed the name.
So
it's like plagiarism on itself.
I agree with you that like at first prices will go up due to inflation because like obviously if you're putting a 60% tariff on China, then like American companies that use Chinese like warehouses, like the prices of those goods will obviously go up. But like in the long run, what he's trying to do is provide like more companies a chance to move their manufacturing to America.
I hear you, but that's not what happened the first time. Again, this isn't a hypothetical anymore. He already did this. He launched a trade war with China and he lost. So when you're making the case as to what you think will happen, you have to recognize it didn't happen the first time. So you can't gaslight people into thinking it may work again. This is like trickle-down economics with you MAGA Republicans saying, well, we should have trickle-down economics, even though it didn't work for Reagan or Bush. It gave Bush a market crash. It gave Reagan a recession.
I agree that this isn't trickle-down.
I understand, but I'm saying in a comparison, you are doing what other MAGA Republicans do with trickle-down economics when they say we should have trickle-down economics, even though it failed twice. You're saying, well, Donald Trump will bring jobs back to America, that he'll bring manufacturing back to America. Excuse me, he did it the first time. When he already implemented it, like he didn't the first time. You think he's gonna this time?
He didn't implement tariffs on like all goods, so obviously there was still room.
He literally did. That was the issue, that he was implementing it on everything because he didn't know strategically what to implement it on. He did aluminum, he did steel, he did fucking produce. Come on, man. Okay, so let's be so honest about this. It threw farmers It threw farmers out of business. Okay, farmers lost their jobs. And again, those who didn't passed off rising costs because they had a surplus and supply and demand issue to small businesses that were dependent on produce. And then this went off to middle class consumers. Small businesses went out of business. Farmers closed their doors. He lost jobs. That's why he lost the trade war, because he lost jobs. But if you're concerned about jobs, if you're concerned about bringing manufacturing back to our country, look no further than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who gave us packages like the Chips and Science Act that brought chip manufacturing back to America, right? Created tens of thousands of good-paying union jobs that'll last decade. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who gave us packages like the infrastructure package that created double the amount of jobs that Donald Trump created on average. Just this month alone, 233,000 jobs were created under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. The national average for them, though, per month was 400,000, not including jobs created or lost due to the pandemic. Under Donald Trump, half that, 178,000. Again, not counting jobs lost to the pandemic. Otherwise, that number would be in the negatives for him. But I'm going to be generous and choose not to blame him for the pandemic, even though his pandemic response was garbage. And shutting down the economy, not the best idea he had. So again, if you care about jobs, go for the candidate who created double the amount of jobs that Donald Trump created, who didn't play around with tariffs to do so, and didn't increase our debt by $8 trillion.
Okay.
Just a thought.
I applaud you because you're very well educated on this topic, and I want to thank you for educating me about this. I'll have to do some more research, but your side is very convincing. But one thing I would like to talk about now is the war in Ukraine, if that's okay with you.
Go for it.
So in 2022, when Russia obviously invaded Ukraine, like a few months after that, Zelensky was willing to come to a peace deal and an agreement with Russia over the war, and Biden and Harris told him, no, we have to keep on fighting. And that's a decision that I disagree with.
This is inaccurate. We need to take a step back and recognize that Donald Trump believes any peace deal with Ukraine consists of Ukraine giving up a piece of their sovereign land to Vladimir Putin. And what you just said was blatant disinformation, because you said it with the intent on misleading those within this channel. So that's disinformation, not even misinformation. So I want to better recognize this. What is Donald Trump's solution to end the conflict between Ukraine and Russia? Do you know?
Sure. He is trying to come to an agreement where Russia will have to take some of Ukraine's land. And
okay, but that's a problem, because Ukraine's not going to give up the land, and you
they
shouldn't
were willing to
award. You shouldn't award Vladimir Putin. That just teaches Vladimir Putin that if he invades somewhere, let's say he goes for Poland next, that you're going to concede and give him some of the land every time he does it. So wouldn't he just continue invading? It's like you invaded Ukraine and you walked away with some of their land. Well, fuck yeah, now let's go invade Poland, right? Get some of their land too. See the issue?
No, because if he
listen, when somebody steals from a store, let's say you go to a dollar store and you steal a chocolate bar. After you get caught and arrested, do they let you keep half of the chocolate bar?
No, they don't. But this is a different scenario. Because
no, this is the same scenario.
No, lives are being lost on both sides. And
correct. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's take a step back. Let's say you go to the dollar store, and on your way there, you shank a bunch of people. Then you take the chocolate bar. You get caught, arrested. Do they let you keep half of the chocolate bar? No. Okay, so you don't let a dictator keep half of the land that he's trying to steal. That doesn't teach him to stop stealing land. That doesn't teach him not to invade again. That teaches him that if he does invade again, he will get land in any attempt. Whether he fails or wins, he can take land. That's not the way to go about this. Knock that shit off. Let's take a step back and recognize I asked you what Donald Trump's solution was to end the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. You said he was going to give over land from Ukraine to Russia. By God, if that is his solution, that is god awful. And then you better bet the United States will be next, and that we'll lose Alaska to Russia, because we know that Russia's already eyeing Alaska. Vladimir Putin has made that very clear. Okay, so let's hope that that's not his plan, because if it is, then you just made the case to vote for Kamala, or God help us. Now, I also want to better understand that Donald Trump's deal does consist of defunding Ukraine. Do you know what that leads to?
Sure. What does it lead to?
Renuclearization of Ukraine. Ukraine in the 90s signed a deal with us called the Budapest Memorandum, making clear that if Ukraine ever gets invaded by Russia, that they will not use nuclear weapons to retaliate. Instead, we will offer them weaponry that keeps it on a level playing field to avoid us having to go into a nuclear war. to defend Ukraine against Russia, because that's a global catastrophe if we involve nukes. Now, if you violate that deal, you are giving Ukraine full permission to nuclearize and nuke Russia. Do you want that?
No, but just one quick point. What's the end solution to this war? Is it for Ukrainian forces to push back into Russia and like reclaim all their land and then just have the same boundaries as before?
Well, Ukraine is winning. So Ukraine reclaims their land, and then we make clear that the next time Russia tries to invade a sovereign nation, they will end up in the same scenario that they are now, with a crumbling economy that can't keep their wealthy afloat, let alone those in the lower class of Russia, and that they will continue to lose endless lives as they are now, where their own military is suffering and they have to rely on weaponry instead of Russians. So yes, that is a great solution, and I look forward to Ukraine making very clear to Russia that democracy prevails, that freedom prevails, and that Ukraine prevails.
But is Ukraine...
I'm not done. I asked you for his solution. You're advocating for the renuclearization of Ukraine, and you better bet if you renuclearize Ukraine, oh yeah, Russia will end real quick. And then there'll be retaliation on the United States via nukes. I'm not going to advocate for that. You're advocating for that. I think we need less war, not more war. But while we're on the topic of foreign policy, I'd be curious, what is Donald Trump's solution to end the conflict between Israel and Gaza?
I'm not that well educated on that topic, but I know that both Biden and Trump support Israel, and I assume
Biden's not running for president.
I know. Okay, so Kamala...
Biden could sit in a nursing home for the rest of his life, and I would not care.
Yeah,
he's redundant to me. So what is Kamala and Donald Trump running on?
I think their stances on Israel are pretty similar in the fact that they're both going to support Israel.
No, what are their solutions? I didn't ask you if they support Israel. I asked you what their solutions were.
Trump has said that he's going to continue supporting Israel in the war, correct? And
he's going to finish them. And what does finish them mean?
He's going to fight against Hamas. Like, he's going to support Israel in fighting against Hamas.
But it's not Hamas anymore. He's dehoming Palestinian people, right? That's what finish them means. Finish them includes civilians. Understood? Okay. What is Kamala's solution to end the conflict between Israel and Gaza?
Is she advocating for a ceasefire?
Ceasefire, two-state solution, hostage deal, which is diplomacy. She's saying diplomacy. He's saying war. He's saying we're going to end the war by finishing the war and dehoming Palestinian people entirely. That's going to lead to a regional conflict. Again, same way with Ukraine, where you want to renuclearize them. You don't want a regional conflict. Okay, but this will lead to a regional conflict if you dehome the Palestinian people. You're going to have a lot of countries getting involved in that one. Because believe it or not, the Palestinian people have a lot of allies who are not friendly with our country. So this is not a regional war that we want part in, okay? Which is why we want to use diplomacy to end the conflict as soon as possible. And that involves the two-state solution, ceasefire deal, and hostage deal.
Okay, but then wouldn't we be losing our biggest ally in Israel?
You're not losing Israel. How are you losing Israel? By having a two-state solution and ceasefire. What?
Is Israel going to agree to that deal?
The Israeli people will. This deal also is going to have to, whatever deal comes about, is going to have to consist of Hamas being out of office and Netanyahu being out of office. Because the Palestinian people and the Israeli people have made very clear that they're sick and tired of this.
Okay. Yeah, but... Yeah, I just, to be honest, I don't know that much about the war in Ukraine, and your solution does make logical sense, actually.
Okay, so vote for Kamala.
Yeah, you made a very convincing case. Honestly, based on just this debate, I applaud you, and I think I would go and vote for Kamala, but you've inspired me to do more research on the topic over this weekend, I guess, before the election.
Sure.
But,
if you have any questions about the candidates, feel free to let me know, man. You have a good one, okay?
I just have one more question. It's kind of not about, specifically Kamala and Trump, but it's about DEI, because, I'm applying to colleges right now, and it's just something, I care about a lot.
Go for it.
So what's your stance on DEI?
Donald Trump is a DEI president.
Okay, can you back that up?
Sure. Donald Trump was made president by an electoral college system that focuses on giving the minority a voice. So a minority of the country was given a voice to overwhelmingly succeed the majority of the country. More people voted for Hillary Clinton, not 10 people, not 500 people, like in 2000, where you can make the argument that maybe Al Gore did win that, even though, it was decided by Florida and the 500 votes. This was millions of people voting for Hillary, like over Donald Trump, right? So if we went by majority rules, Hillary would be president. Instead, the Electoral College, which is a DEI system, made Donald Trump the president. It gave the minority, the losers, by definition, a victory. It put a DEI hire into the presidency. That's what it did.
Okay,
so if you want to ask me about DEI, Donald Trump's a DEI president.
Okay, sure. If you're considering the Electoral College DEI, I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I don't want to get into that.
How is that a bit of a
argument.
stretch?
So,
DEI is when you take the minority candidate and put it into a majority rule, even though it oversucceeds the majority. So again, Donald Trump was the minority candidate. He didn't have a majority popular vote, and yet he became the president.
Okay, sure.
That is a DEI.
Let's consider.
Hold on, but that makes him a DEI hire, right?
Sure, but then you could also consider Kamala a DEI hire as well.
No, because Kamala Harris won by majority rules.
No, but I understand that. But when, she was a DEI hire for vice president, is what I'm saying.
No, she wasn't, because she won by majority rules.
You do realize there's no voting process for the vice president?
She was Joe Biden's running mate. Joe Biden won the election. Thus, she is the presumptive nominee for the vice presidency.
As she was picked for the vice president, like that.
She was picked for the vice presidency because she was overwhelmingly popular. The same way she picked Tim Walz to be her vice president, it's because Governor Tim Walz is right now soaring in approval ratings, was before she selected him, and is one of the most popular candidates in our country's history. Again, that's not me, to be clear, if J.D. Vance was one of the most popular candidates in our history, I would say the same. But she, and this is another case for you, pick the popular candidate. There's a reason she didn't pick Josh Shapiro, right? She picked Governor Walz because Governor Walz was more popular. Donald Trump picked a DEI candidate. He picked J.D. Vance when Nikki Haley was the overwhelmingly popular candidate who was winning votes. So Nikki Haley would have been the reasonable candidate. He picked J.D. Vance, a DEI hire. Again, you're not understanding that DEI is when you take the minority and put it into the majority rule, which is what the Electoral College did with Donald Trump, and it's what Donald Trump did with J.D. Vance.
Okay, so in the context of college, right? You're familiar with DEI in college.
Sure, but I don't really care about your college experience. No offense. I'm just being sincere.
That's fair, but I just think it's wrong. When you have racial quotas in colleges that are saying we need to have diversity in the sense of race. I think that's just racism.
I think that's hypocritical when you're voting for a candidate who was a DEI hire himself. You're saying that you don't want a quota of some sort, but you're picking the candidate who won by minority rules?
Okay,
Come on, man.
But
come on.
It's a difference.
By this logic, I would be the one making that case that I wouldn't want the DEI hire. Your candidate is the DEI hire,
okay,
though.
Can I just explain? So the difference is...
I hear what you're explaining, but do you see the hypocrisy in the argument you're making?
Yeah, I'm just going to address that hypocrisy now.
Okay.
So in the Electoral College, you're speaking for the minorities' problems, so they have a representation. Because if we didn't
but you're taking the minority representation and putting them into the highest office in the country. That is not equal representation, or is that giving representation to the majority? You're giving representation to the minority and over succeeding the majority. That's DEI. That's DEI hire, right?
No.
DEI isn't. It has nothing to do with like you seem to be conflating DEI with your own inherent racism. I don't know what to tell you about that. Maybe you're misunderstanding DEI. Donald Trump would be the definition of a DEI hire. He is a DEI hire. I'll say it again. The minority rules in the Electoral College gave a majority voice to those who didn't have enough votes to beat Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was the rightful candidate and the rightful victor, but Donald Trump, because of a DEI system put into place to give a voice to the minority, over succeeded her for the presidency.
Yes, but
that's DEI.
I don't think you can relate that to the context of like college, let's say, or
but you're conflating your college DEI stance for DEI when that's not DEI.
But
that's you being racist.
They call it DEI.
No, that's what you're calling it. That's racist.
No, they call it DEI.
Take a step back. I'm telling you, that's not DEI. You're being racist.
No, but
DEI is the minority representation that Donald Trump took advantage of to become the leading candidate for the majority, even though he lost the election. That's DEI. You're conflating DEI with a different definition. That's not DEI. What you're saying is racism. What I'm saying is what DEI means.
But when all the colleges say, okay, we're DEI, like we're promoting a policy of DEI in our schools, so we're gonna try and have like more diversity in the race of our students in our school, and like I don't know.
So
what
are you
else.
saying you shouldn't have diversity in your? Because then you're making the case here. You look at, for example, Congress, right, where every state has a certain amount of Congress members.
No,
but
no.
then you look
I'm
at the
saying,
Senate,
like,
for example, where everybody gets 2 senators. Would you not want equal representation? I mean, for example, why does Wyoming have 2 senators, but then California has 2 senators? California statistically should have 19 senators. Wyoming should have 1 senator.
Yeah,
is that DEI? Are you giving DEI to the Republican states? Like, why does Arkansas have as many senators as New York?
Yes, sure. That is a form of DEI.
That is DEI, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm talking about a different.
It's benefiting
form.
Republicans. So DEI is wrong unless it's benefiting Republicans like Donald Trump and Mike Johnson.
No. What I'm saying is like, in the context of college, right? I get like equal representation.
Listen, I get it. You don't want to go onto a campus with Black Americans. I don't know what to tell you. Change campuses. But then again, you're talking about DEI. But
can I finish my point, please?
You're talking about DEI, but the Senate gives equal representation to Republican states where they have a couple thousand people living there. Like, for example, Wyoming, equal representation to that of New York. How is that fair? Can you justify that?
Yes. So it's so that each state has like an equal representation in the issues of their state.
Yeah, and yet that's DEI. And then again, you look at the Electoral College, and that's also DEI. It gave the minority candidate, Donald Trump, a victory for a presidency he lost by millions of votes.
Yes, I'm agreeing that that's DEI, but
so you don't really get to talk about DEI then, right? When DEI benefits Republicans in the Senate, like Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, right, who's a DEI candidate by that logic, and also Donald Trump, who benefited from DEI because he became president, even though he lost with his minority. He didn't have the majority. Same with George Bush. He didn't have the majority. He had the minority. So DEI is bad unless it's George Bush, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, Mike Johnson.
No, it's bad when you're conflate, like in college, when you're not using a meritocracy to get into college because you're conflating it with like racial diversity.
I get it. Listen, you already said you didn't want to go to school with Black Americans. I don't know what to tell you.
That's not what I'm saying.
Change college campuses. I'm Ivy League, right? I'm Ivy League.
Point, please?
I'm Ivy League. And so my university, I was very proud to be at a university with such a diverse field of leaders from all different backgrounds. And I was proud to have that experience. It benefited me and it made me far more intelligent as an individual, as I came from a rural background, a conservative background. And, before this, I was far more conservative leaning. So I was proud to have that experience. But, whatever community college or whatever you're going to, I would recommend then if you're upset, like go to a different school. I don't know what to tell you, man.
No, what I'm saying is like, you agree that like
are you conflating affirmative action with DEI? Is that what's happening here?
In a way, like they're closely related because colleges use like DEI. Like
they're not closely related.
Yes,
you brought up DEI. Did you mean affirmative action?
That's like when there were racial quotas, correct?
I think the issue at the core here that I'm really trying to get across to you is that when you're voting for a candidate who is a DEI hire by textbook definition, you shouldn't be advocating against DEI programs, even though you weren't advocating against the DEI program, you were advocating against an affirmative action program. And that's on you. And again, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't stop it from being racist, right? So I think I want to just
affirmative action.
Thank you
racist?
so much, Crispy, for the email messaging thingy, whatever that was. I appreciate the love.
Is affirmative action not racist?
Excuse me. Pardon me. So again, jumping back into this, I'm not going to continue harping on this with you. I hope that what I've explained is more than enough for you to have a better idea as to the hypocrisy behind your argument. If it's not, then I don't know what else to tell you, but feel free to do more research on the subject.
Is affirmative action racist?
Is it racist according to you? Yes or no?
Yes, it is racist.
Okay, well, that's on you, right? That's your personal opinion. And affirmative action was put into place to combat racism, but you're suggesting that it's racist against white people.
No, it's
and
racist.
I don't know what to stop it. Stop it right now. I don't know what to tell you. Again, what I would recommend is cut the racist bullshit. And recognize that I don't care what you are. You could be a fucking potato. I don't care. So again, you look at DEI, which you brought up and have been speaking on for the past 15 minutes. Your candidate, Donald Trump, is a DEI hire, right? And Republicans have used DEI to benefit themselves as they advocate against it, which is odd and hypocritical, like yourself and you are doing right now. Donald Trump was a minority candidate, lost the presidential election in 2016, but used the Electoral College, which is a DEI system, to win the presidency, even though he lost by 3 million votes. That is not majority rules. That is DEI taking the voice away from the majority, which was me and everybody who voted for Hillary Clinton. Then you look at Bush, same deal. Al Gore, majority rules. George Bush, minority candidate. DEI put him into the presidency. Oh, it's Halloween, by the way, just a heads up. We're going for an Addams Family thing. This is not how I dress on a normal day, guys. Just a heads up. This is normally, I got different clothes on for everybody who's just tuning in for the first time, so you know I'm not goth or something.
I really enjoyed talking to
Addams
you.
Family.
Just one last question. It's like a yes or no. What are your thoughts on Vivek Ramaswamy?
Kind of redundant, right? Because he's never going to be in any administration role. So
yeah, but like, what are your thoughts on him as a person?
Doesn't matter. He's redundant to me. That's like asking me what are my thoughts on Celine Dion. I don't care. I don't know her. I don't care about her. She's redundant to me, right? She's not like at the forefront of my mind. Do you think I wake up in the morning and I'm like, Vivek Ramaswamy, oh my gosh, I wonder what he's doing? Like, I don't care, right? He's never going to have any control over my life whatsoever. And I'm not even saying because Kamala's going to win. Kamala wins, he's not in the admin. If Donald Trump wins, you think he's putting Vivek Ramaswamy in his admin? Let's be so real. Let's be so real. MAGA Trumpers are still getting acquainted with the fact that JD Vance's wife is JD Vance's wife. Okay? So let's quit playing. You have a good one. Thanks for coming up.
Okay, yeah, you too. Thank you, bro.
Alrighty, folks. Let's get up our next guest. Just said that. That's funny. Celine Dion for Secretary of State. Folks, if you like what you're hearing today and you want to support me, my Venmo, PayPal, those are in my bio. Or if you want to hit that follow button in the top left corner and join our little family. We'd love to have you as part of the team we got going on here. Let's get up our next guest. Bryson, how are you voting for Donald Trump?
Bro, I've been listening for the last 15 minutes and you just spew bullshit out of your...
Cry more. Thank you so much, Joe, for the $20. I appreciate it on Venmo. Thank you so much. Joe says I'm very patient. I'm not patient all the time. If somebody is respectful to me, I repeat the energy. If somebody's disrespectful, and I can, the chat can attest to this, I will be disrespectful right back. I will not hesitate. I got my kind Jewish boy side, right? I got the side that my mom taught me, and then I also got my Italian side. And then when my dad's side comes out, let me tell you right now, for all my Italians in the chat, you know what's up. So hello, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump? Hello? Dolores? Hello? Hello? Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
No.
Dolores, I'm just looking for opposition right now. Thank you for coming up, though. Folks, please hit that like button. Help us get to 300,000 likes. Hit the share button as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. Please tap on your screen. Help us get this live stream out to more folks on the algorithm. Trying to get up our next guest, but I'm sure it's going to take a minute before we get somebody up here. You guys want to see something funny? Let's see if this works. Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump? Hello? Oh, guess not. Sad. Missed opportunity. Hi, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
Oh, goodness gracious. What are you talking into right now? Nova, thank you so much for the love on Venmo. Thank you so much. Are you like, it's giving the guy from Scream, like, the guy who calls the like, what are you talking into, man? Is this like a Nokia? What is this?
No, it's just my AirPods. I'm trying to call back. Let me try to reconnect to you. I'll jump back in.
All right, man. I was about to ask him, like, I thought he was calling from the 90s or something. I'm like, how's Bill Clinton's presidency? How y'all doing back there? Do you like scary movies? Yep. Hi, guys. You voting for Donald Trump? Hello? Okay. Make like a leaf and... No, wait. Make like a tree and leaf? What's the saying? Is it make like a tree and leaf? Is that the saying, guys? I don't actually know that saying. I haven't used it before. Slowly trying to get up our next guest, but I can't seem to get a guest up here. Where's all the Trumpers? Nobody knows. Probably traveling to DC to insurrect the Capitol. Hi, guest. Are you voting for Donald Trump? Hello? Dude, why do people do that? It's like, hi, come on up if you're voting for Trump. And they come up and then they just kind of sit there and, like, I guess get scared. I guess it's stage fright. I don't know what's up. Hey, are you voting for Trump? Moo! Moo is right. Moo is right. It's not nice to make those noises at Melania Trump. I don't think she's a cow. I just think that, I just think that she,
Hey, how you doing?
A little nicer in her approach is all. Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yes, sir.
That's disgusting. Sorry, that was a little rude. Let's restart. Sorry, I apologize. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
You have your own thoughts, but
Are you voting for Donald Trump? Yeah, that's fucking gross. Okay, so anyway, why are you voting for the criminal?
I'm voting for the criminal because
be best.
I feel like the process where Kamala was nominated to become the next nominee was criminal, and she shouldn't have became the next nominee. I like chickens too. So
sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying that the way Kamala was. I was saying the way Kamala. Okay, well, I'm not going to mention Kamala. I'm going to say that Trump is a stronger candidate. He's already been in office, so he is someone that we.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for the witch, Michelle. That's awesome. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the witch.
There's someone that can.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, guess 1 second. Okay. All right, continue.
We have someone who's already been in office, and he already has, he already has a plan of what he wants to do.
Gotcha. Anyway, so why are you voting for the criminal?
Because he's a stronger candidate. He's a stronger candidate, and
in what sense is a criminal, felon, sexual abuser, and civil fraudster a stronger candidate than the prosecutor, district attorney who led the largest Department of Justice, second only to the U.S. Department of Justice, that being California, which had her as chief law enforcement officer, the largest law enforcement agency in our country, in a state that had the fifth largest economy in the globe, not our country, in the globe, who was also senator and vice president, who gave us packages that benefited middle-class Americans, like the infrastructure package and CHIPS and Science Act, right? So you're going to say that Donald Trump, the felon, sexual abuser, civil fraudster, who couldn't deliver on any of his policies, whether it be a replacement to the ACA, whether it be an infrastructure package, which, mind you, Kamala did pass and Donald Trump said he would, but didn't. Donald Trump, who couldn't even accomplish the wall. I mean, did Mexico pay for it? No. So in what sense here is Donald Trump stronger? Because it's obviously not policy, value, or moral focused. It's not based off of character. It's not based off of truth, promises, intelligence. So what is it based off of?
How I feel like world leaders are scared of him as they're not willing to start wars under Trump's presidency.
But they literally were. Right? What are you talking about? Donald Trump couldn't negotiate a deal with Vladimir Putin to bring home a single U.S. Marine, that being U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, detained during Donald Trump's presidency in Russia, released because of Joe Biden during Joe Biden's first term. Can you look at Donald Trump and what? You expect that he's going to end the conflict between Ukraine and Russia when he couldn't negotiate a deal to bring home a Marine? Donald Trump, who wouldn't hold Vladimir Putin accountable for putting bounties on the heads of our soldiers. You want to gaslight us into thinking he could negotiate a deal to end an entire conflict where it was, mind you, started by Russia when he couldn't negotiate such a simple deal as like a hostage release? I mean, come on, man. Come on.
I mean,
was North Korea scared of Donald Trump when they took a photo of him saluting a North Korean soldier and used it as war propaganda? Because I don't think they were. I don't think they were scared of him. I mean, Nova, it looks like Nova was muted. Mods, would you please unmute Nova? Thank you so much to our mods who are on right now, by the way. Love y'all. If we could get some W mods in the chat. Thank you, mods.
Well, I'm just saying how Trump he's going to have another term, and he's going to prove to y'all how he's actually,
Well, he's not going to have a second term to do so, unless you're talking about a second term, like, in sentencing, then I agree. Yeah, he'll probably be spending like 2 to 3 terms or life sentences, if you will, after his November sentencing. I agree. Behind bars. Speaking of, do you think that these handcuffs are too big for his hands? Because, I don't know. I'm just thinking. Hold on, let me see. He gave me this. It's like a cutout of his hand. Like, when you do the hole, you put your hand in the resin and it makes the hand. Yeah,
I know he has small hands.
Oh, man, that stinks. I think these are going to be too small.
Judging someone off their physical appearance. Yeah.
What are we going to do? What if I guess they can hold it. Oh, damn. I didn't even know it. Some tiny hand right there. Is that enough for Melania? Is Melania okay with that? Oh, well, I guess she's going with the Marine anyway. Everybody remembers the inaugural ball. Anyway, sorry, were you talking? Sorry, I got lost. I was measuring Donald Trump's hand with his handcuffs.
I was saying how Trump will get a second term because, he is the stronger candidate, and he's
that's not true. I just broke it down. So in what sense do you think he's stronger?
Well, stronger than Kamala, as when you hear her talk, she doesn't sound very confident in what she's saying. She sounds like, I don't even think she believes everything she says.
Okay, Donald Trump tripped on his way bringing himself into a garbage truck the other day. You understand that Donald Trump put his name on a garbage truck, walked over to get inside of it, and fucking tripped? Really, man? You want to talk about people who may not cognitively either? Words. Yeah, but let's better understand this again. Donald Trump's dementia is just the icing on the cake, right? Donald Trump isn't speaking coherently when he talks about, at the age of 80, sharks and batteries, and my wife Mercedes Trump, my wife Mercedes, or you look at Speaker of the House, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, the Speaker of the House, a very nasty woman, wouldn't let me insurrect the Capitol. It doesn't add up, right? When that's your candidate. Kamala Harris is a prosecutor. She was born, literally, I wouldn't be shocked if Kamala Harris was born in a test tube because she was so perfectly made with the ideals and values and character and delivery of a prosecutor. Like, she fights for freedom, she stands on freedom, and not only that, she delivers her language beautifully. Like, word for word, she describes a policy, breaks ground on it, and translates it very well to apparently not everybody, but at least the people whose IQ size doesn't match their shoe. But anyway,
but when Kamala Harris was asked about her policies on the economy, she said, "Well, first I was born in a middle class family," and she kept breaking it down, and she actually did that twice. So it's not very. It's shown that she's not.
Oh, Kamala Harris can't talk about her life at the get-go of a debate. God help her. God help us if a woman talks about her life Oh, but you know what? JD Vance did the same exact thing in his debate strategy. On the first vice presidential debate, JD Vance took the stage, was asked a question, and then spoke about his personal life. But the difference between him and Kamala talking about their personal life in response to the first question asked during the debate was Kamala got to her answer. JD Vance never answered the question whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure not even going to say it, I'm going to choose kindness.
Oh, please say it.
Nope, it's fine. Let's continue. Can you tell me one policy that Donald Trump passed that economically benefited middle-class Americans?
When the stay in Mexico, which would help the immigrants from taking our housing, so we can have housing and it becomes more affordable as
if you're concerned with affordable housing, you ought to vote for Kamala Harris, who's giving a $25,000 down payment to first-time home buyers. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, you're talking about remain in Mexico. I asked you for a policy he passed that economically benefited middle-class Americans, and you went straight into immigration. We recognize that, first off, illegal immigrants alone add $300 billion to our country's economy every single year. So by you saying he's kicking illegal immigrants out, he would actually be hurting the economy. But I understand if you don't have an economic policy, that's fine, then just admit it. And let's also be clear, SCOTUS took down Remain in Mexico. That's on them, right? So he's not going to be able to re-implement it. But again, if you could tell me, without naming a policy that hurts the economy, leads to humanitarian and legal concerns, if you could tell me a single policy he passed that economically benefited middle-class Americans, that would be great.
Well, when he gave tax cuts to the rich, so it's with trickle down economics.
Oh, we're going right into trickle down economics. Wow, nothing wrong with that argument. I can't see where this is going to go wrong for you. Okay, the trickle down economics work for Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, and
it led to George H.W. Bush's recession. The trickle down economics work for George W. Bush. The answer is no. It led to his historic market crash and borderline recession, borderline global Great Depression. So tell me again, you're making the case for trickle-down economics, yet your own candidate didn't successfully implement trickle-down economics during his first term. Nothing has trickled down, right? He cut taxes for corporations. Mind you, do you know the percentage he cut them by, yes or no?
No.
14%. Cut it by 14%. And then that money increased our debt by like $8 trillion. You understand? So our money our costs went up, our debt went up. When did it trickle down? Like, are we still waiting for it to trickle down? Because when you tell me, when is it going to trickle down?
It started trickling down when he made a bunch of new jobs.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris created far more jobs than Donald Trump. On average, they created 400,000. On average for Donald Trump, 178,000. And mind you, this doesn't include pandemic jobs created or lost, because I don't include those numbers in my math.
I mean, it's just that everything was more affordable.
Donald Trump gave a 1% to 2% tax cut to middle-class Americans and 14% to corporations. This increased our debt by $8 trillion. Additionally, it led to corporations feeling empowered by greedflation and shrinkflation, because if they could get away with the tax cut when they were making record high profits like Microsoft, then why not play the dartboard and see if you could hit a high score? So you have companies like PepsiCo that increase costs on Gatorade. No reason. They benefited from the 14% corporate tax deduction, passed it up to their CEO, and then hiked up the cost on Gatorade, and then shrunk the size by 2 to 4 ounces. Kroger, just 6 weeks ago, the CEO of Kroger, who benefited from the 14% corporate tax deduction, admitted to price gouging. You then look at Apple, whose CEO walked away with more money by the end of Donald Trump's term pre-pandemic than he walked in with at the get-go of Donald Trump's term. He benefited from the 14% corporate tax deduction. He didn't use the money to create jobs. He didn't use the money to cut costs on products related to Apple. I mean, iPhone costs went up by $200. Instead, he passed it up to the CEO and he walked away and bought a yacht. You're going to tell us that the trickle-down is going to come when? It didn't come during the 1980s with Ronald Reagan. It never got to us. Instead, it caused a recession and we paid for it. It didn't come during George W. Bush's term. Led to a market crash and we paid for it. So what? Third time's the charm? No. Turns out 3 strikes, you're out. And this is why Donald Trump lost his election in 2020. Again, and then better yet, let's also look at the tariffs, right? Donald Trump implemented tariffs. Okay? This in part was part of his economic strategy. But you don't get to say that Donald Trump was a good businessman, because a good businessman, right, wouldn't take a risk like this, where you put a 15 to 25% tariff on agriculture that led to an export crisis as farmers lost China as a main consumer, had a surplus in supply and demand issue, passed off rising costs to middle class consumers through small businesses, and hiked up our costs by $230 billion. We look at Donald Trump's next plan. Donald Trump says he wants to put a 60% tariff on China, 10% across the board, and additional tariffs, re-implementation of his original tariffs back into place. Okay. Penn Wharton economists say that that's going to lead to an additional $3 trillion on our national debt and $2,500 to $3,900 coming out of the pockets of middle-class Americans every single year. You want that? You want to pay for that? When is it going to trickle down? Because it hasn't yet. It hasn't for 40 years. When is the trickle down coming? I'm waiting, just like my mother was waiting, just like my grandmother was waiting. Hasn't come yet. What are we waiting for? When is the trickle?
Honestly, I don't think we're even getting anywhere. This is getting embarrassing. So can I tell you something?
Well, this is getting embarrassing for you because you're not speaking on facts, strategy, or anything. Hold on, wait. Let me fix it. You're breaking out a little bit. You want to tell me something? Yeah, let me.
Oh, yeah.
Hocus pocus. Sorry. You said you were going to say something? Gosh, my magic wand apparently zapped you out of existence. I bippity boppity booped you out of my life. Oopsie poopsies. Sorry we didn't get to hear what you wanted to say.
Am I on now?
Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Am I on? Do you hear me? I'm going to shut my TV off. Hold on a second. Am I on? Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, I think. Are you voting for Trump?
How old are you, kid?
I'm 82.
Okay, you're full of shit. First of all...
Sorry, you just muted yourself. Can you unmute? We can't hear you. Sir, you just muted yourself. Thank you so much, Marilyn, for the galaxy. I appreciate the love, Marilyn. Thank you so much. Guest, you accidentally muted yourself. Would you unmute? Oh, no. Goodness gracious. I don't know how you muted yourself like that.
All right, you there?
Hold on. Yeah. communist?
Do know communism
What
has
is a
killed
communist?
100.
Pardon me, Pookie. I was asking you a fucking question, and you apparently are having a processing issue. So again, I'm asking you, what is a communist? And you won't respond. That's because you don't know what a communist is. So when you run around calling people communists and Marxists, making you look a little silly, ain't it? Especially when your candidate is taking policies from a socialist. Like no tax on tips. You know that was a socialist policy, right? But your candidate is advocating for it. Or how about the fact that your candidate is a fascist? And that's not me saying it. That is his own chief of staff saying it, right? John Kelly said that Donald Trump is a fascist. John Kelly
Which is a lie.
said that. No, because guess what? A fascist would violate the Constitution like Donald Trump did when Donald Trump violated our Second Amendment with his bump stock ban, which was overturned by his own Supreme Court in June of this year. You know, Amy Coney Barrett is the one who called Donald Trump a constitutional violator. He nominated her. She says he's a constitutional violator.
The only constitution.
Excuse me, Pookie, I wasn't done. Donald Trump, the one who overturns the law of the land, that being Roe v. Wade as well. Suzanne, Suzanne, thank you so much for the galaxy. I appreciate the love. Don't tell me what a communist or who you think a communist is when you can even tell me what is a communist. Like, what is a communist? Answer that. Your candidate's a fascist. You tell me, what is a communist? You're talking about my candidate being a communist. Tell me what a communist is. Go ahead. Or can you at least define Marxist?
Both communism, Marxism, and socialism are connected. It's a form of government in which the government has, just like China, just like North Korea.
Okay.
Do not.
You just said that socialism.
Know how
Excuse me, Pookie. Maybe I stuttered. You just said that communism and socialism and Marxism are the same thing, are connected. They're not connected. Communism, socialism, and Marxism are not connected. Also, let's recognize socialism and communism are nowhere near the same whatsoever. No, it's not, Pookie. But let me ask you again. Can you define what communism is? Word for word, give me the definition of communism. Don't just say communism, Marxism, and socialism is the same thing. Because by that logic, your candidate who is endorsing socialist policies would also be a communist, right? Alexander Cloud, thank you so much for the $20 for playing with my food. I appreciate it.
Can you define what fascism is?
Wait, can I just tell you something real quick? Alexander just gave me $20 because he hates you. So thank you so much for being so dislikable. It's because of you and you being so easily hated that I just received $20. So thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
You are the most
Cry more. Sorry.
Y'all have the most hateful people.
Yeah, we do have the most hateful people voting for Donald Trump, but that's why we're going to make sure he's not president. Cry more. Bye, Pookie. Let's get up our next guest. Guys, we're at that point of the night where we're probably going to move over to Kamala supporters soon because these Trumpers are off their rockers. They are off their rockers. Let's play with our food a little bit and then we'll get started. Victor, thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo. That is so nice. Thank you so much. Victor said $25 to keep smashing the mute button. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Victor. Can we please get some W Victors in the chat? I love that you folks join me in trolling.
Because it's fun.
Shh, quiet. Thank you so much, folks, for joining me in the trolling. I appreciate it. It's always so fun when we win together as a family. We fight together as a family. We win together as a family. And most importantly, we troll MAGA Republicans together as a family. And I appreciate you folks for the love. Because it's so funny when you guys like drop a 10 or 20 and you're like, hey, I'm sending this because I hate him. And then I tell them, do you know how mad they get? Like, do you understand how mad that makes these people? It's so funny and I love it. Deborah, hi. Are you voting for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Deborah, you gotta unmute. Deborah, sweetheart, you gotta unmute. Deborah. There you go. You did it. Hi, Deborah.
Hey, I'm voting for Trump.
Oh, that's disgusting. Anyway, so why do you support crime? Do you hate our police, or is it like a kink? Is it like a personal kink? We all got our things, but is your things like some people just go for the handcuffs. You're going for the full felon, aren't you? Like, may I recommend trying fuzzy handcuffs instead of a criminal next time?
He's not a felon.
He actually is. He's also a sexual abuser and a civil fraudster, so you're right. We shouldn't just say he's a felon. We should say what he is, a rapist, civil fraudster.
Are you taking care of us?
Anyway, so why do you hate our country? And why do you support crime?
I love my country.
Apparently not if you're trying to make a
And
felon that's president.
that's why I'm voting for Trump.
Oh, you love your country? Oh, now I get it. You love your country. That's why you're voting for Trump. So you're actually from Russia. I get it. So you're actually, hold on, wait. So I get it. You're saying that you love your country. So you're going to vote for Trump. So now I get it. You're from Russia. I get it, ma'am. Hold on, chill. Deborah, I get it. You're from Russia and you're interfering in the election. So that's why you're voting for Trump. Now I get it. You're not from America. You love your country, which is Russia. I get it now. Now I get it.
Talk. Look, I have to go. My daughters are freaking out.
Oh, you came up here, got slapped down, and left. Thanks for the public service.
I just got slapped down so much. But look,
You really
let me tell you
did.
something.
So I appreciate. Hold on, before you tell me something.
Listen.
Oh wait. Hold on. Let me.
They
Can I turn
got-
up?
they got clean-
Wait.
they
Can I
got
turn?
Kleenex
Hold on.
around-
1 second before you say. Can I turn up the mic so that we can hear you? You're talking, but we can't hear you. Are you ready? Can you unmute and just tell us what you're about to say? But I need to turn up the mic. Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Wait a minute.
And 3,
I
2,
said-
poof, gone. You said nothing. She goes, I said, talk to the wall.
You're fucking amazing.
Thanks. I appreciate the love. How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm going to try to do a couple more Trump supporters, and then we're going to move on into Kamala supporters, okay?
Okay.
I love our community. We really have a great community. We really do. Oh, my goodness gracious. I guess. You voting for Donald Trump?
No.
W's. I want to try a couple more Trump supporters, and then we're going to move on into Kamala supporters. Hello.
Hello.
Are you voting for Trump?
I'm actually a Canadian, so I'm unable to vote for Trump.
Okay, I'm going to go buy a box of tea and toss it in the Boston Harbor for you. I hope you know that that's in honor of you and solely you. Next time a European or somebody from any other country comes up here to tell me who I should vote for, I'm going to up the tea count every time until we get an entire ocean of tea. Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
I'm not, you wonderful human being. I just
Shucks.
just give me 1 minute, okay?
Yeah, let's do Kamala supporters now. Folks, if you're voting for Kamala, join the guest request. Let's have a chat. Let's start with you, Deb. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sweetie. I am so excited I'm a boomer, okay? I love you guys. You guys give me hope. The millennials, the Gen X, all you guys give me so much hope. I see our country moving in the right direction because of you guys. I voted Republican up until Obama. And in him, I saw hope again. And then that asshole come down the escalator, and I didn't know. I voted for Gary Johnson because I liked that he liked, the devil's weed. And then I voted for Biden, and I will now vote for Kamala Harris. But I just wanted to get on here to tell you that I love you guys. You, Parker, Harry, Chris, Adam. I listen to you all because you give me hope in your generation is going to make America wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Keep up the good work, please.
Listen, it is a lot of work, and I'm going to be so honest with you. I'm so excited for it to be over in a few days. I think that folks, I speak for me and everybody who does these streams. We do these streams in our spare time. Like, this is not the work. This is education at its finest, absolutely. But this isn't the running around, right? Like, we come on here and we do this in part for 2 reasons. One, because it helps us raise funds so that we can continue traveling our respective states. My state, for example, is Pennsylvania. I travel Pennsylvania, and anything I get from this financially helps me travel that swing state from Erie County, Pennsylvania to Philadelphia to turn out the vote for Kamala. And then also we do it because when we have folks come up here, we can educate Trump supporters or educate even moderate Republicans who are tuning in to figure out which candidate best suits them. My personal take on it is I have Trumpers come up here so that I could point out how ignorant they are and how easily triggered they are. I'm not looking to change their mind, but I am looking to change the mind of the other Republicans who are listening in, but might be more reasonable. and typically are more reasonable. I myself have voted for Republicans and Democrats like you, and it works. This morning, I received a message from a Republican who was going to vote for Trump or choose not to vote. They're now voting for Kamala, and so what we're doing is productive. But then, that in-person work, I mean, actually, I'm not going to say where I'll be. Don't want to dox myself.
I know. I already know.
But
I
you do?
know,
Yeah.
And I hope you guys have so much fun. Just go and walk those, and do what you have to do. And like I said, from a boomer to the younger generation, you guys fucking rock.
Hey,
Keep
thank
up
you
the
so
good
much.
work. And I have so much hope in you. God bless you all and have a wonderful, wonderful election day.
Thanks, Deborah.
Go
You too.
Kamala Waltz.
Thank you so much. Let's win this.
Thank you. Yes, we will.
From a Gen Zer to a baby boomer, got a lot of love up here, and we are going to win this together. I want to say a massive thank you to Danielle for the $20 on Venmo. That is beyond kind. Thank you so much, Danielle. Now I saw... There we go. My beautiful friend. Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
Hi. So tell us.
I'm so excited to talk to you.
I'm so excited that you're up here. So tell me, did you vote yet?
I voted last week.
Oh, you did? Nice. How was the process?
Surprisingly, it went very, very well, but there were a lot of people there. I was so excited to see how many people were early voting here in Florida. I mean, awesome.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them look to be our supporters. I don't know how I know that, but you could always pick the other ones out. So
yeah.
But I wanted to tell you, like, I was hoping you would say, why are you voting for Kamala? Because
I want to know. I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Well, a couple reasons. First of all, I wanted her to win back in 2010. Unfortunately, by the time Florida voted, their primary, she was already out of the race. So that was kind of a bummer, but I loved her then and always hoped that she would run again. But I mean, my main issue this time is abortion. And I will tell you just, briefly a quick story. I don't want to belabor it, but many years ago, I chose to have an abortion, and I did it, I think, for a very good reason. It was because my live-in boyfriend decided to molest my daughter. And then I found out I was pregnant. Well, there was no way I was having that baby. Right. And if I had to choose again, I would do the same thing. It breaks my heart that my daughter, who is now 34 years old, does not have the same rights that I had. Yeah. And that's, Kamala is, it's not just because she's a woman, but because I think she's just so compassionate, and I can't say enough good things about her. Yeah. Her policies are wonderful. I'm very happy with all of that, but you can tell that she really cares, and I don't think it's an act.
Right. Well, I want to say first off, thank you so much for speaking on this, like being willing to, that's god awful. I'm so sorry that happened, and I'm so sorry to hear about this experience, but I think it's so inspiring as well that you took that. That's trauma right there. That is serious trauma. The fact that you took that and you decided to fight for the rights of women across the country by voting for Kamala, by doing what you do for us every day on the live, which I don't know if you folks know in the chat, but Belladonna here, Susan, she is a mod. And so she keeps our conversation here in the community space that we use clean and welcoming and safe for so many of us. So thank you so much for everything you do, and you truly are inspiring. I hope you know that.
Well, I could say the same for you.
I just cause issues online.
No, but I mean the way you present yourself and the way you give information to people is different. I watch other lives as well, but I just love the way that you do what you do because you
Is
put
it the
humor
chicken?
into it. Yeah, I love that chicken.
It's the chicken, ain't it?
No, but I mean you put humor into it, and you're very serious, and you have fun. You know, we like when you go after the MAGA people, you know, because it's funny. But the way you present your information, I think, is very meaningful, and that is why you're able to convert some of the people that you have.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you saying that. I'm excited because at some point after this election, I'm going through right now and counting up all of the folks we have changed, confirmed, pivoted. Not the ones who are like, oh, I changed my vote, and like I don't just believe that. We track when they submit that ballot. I'm excited to share those numbers with folks down the road because we have really accomplished a lot of work together, online, offline, and so I'm excited to share how many we have changed, and it's quite a lot, guys. It's really cool. But anyhow, are you enjoying your Halloween night? Are you doing anything fun? Hopefully, eating candy.
I'm eating what are they? Butter toffee cashews.
Wait, that sounds so good. Are they like coated in butter? What is that?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
coated cashews?
Yeah, I got them off TikTok.
Oh, I need to start doing more TikTok shopping. I did it. I got like one of those mystery book things that they do.
Yeah.
Hated the book. I have no idea what the book is. But the little tea packet that came with it was delicious. So I call it a win. But anyhow, good seeing you. Thanks for coming up. I hope you have a great night.
Yeah, same to you.
The freeze-dried Skittles, folks. Did I see Santana in here, by the way? Santana, are you here? I think I saw Santana, by the way. Where's our friend? Where's our friend? Where's our friend Santana? Where's he at? Hi, guest. Are you voting for Kamala?
I already voted.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
What state?
Georgia.
You voted for Kamala in Georgia?
I did.
Can we get some W Kamalas and some W Gabrielles in the chat, please? Can I just say, first off, I'm a Pennsylvanian, right? Can I just say, thank you for being you, and thank your state for being your state, because, y'all, let me tell you, there's so much pressure on, like, Pennsylvania must go blue. If Pennsylvania doesn't go blue, like, she loses. It's like, the fact that Georgia is in play in a swing state now, y'all have taken so much pressure off of us. We get less political ads now, which is great. Like, thank you for being a swing state now. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I do have to say though, my parents are actually like, well, not that this really has anything to do with it, but my mom is from Michigan. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of getting over something. But my mom is from Michigan and my dad is from New York, and they have always been a huge intellectual influence in me and my siblings' life.
Yeah.
And my mother she's literally brilliant. She also graduated with a political science degree. So she's also been very, like, she taught us history, and she's also been she just knows her politics, and she's always been she's very well versed in it. So that's something that she instilled in me and my siblings for a very, very long time. So, I mean, it was going to be blue, period,
right,
through and through. So, I mean, that's just,
I think our parents play such a deep impact on the way that we see politics, though. It's like, growing up, I grew up in a conservative rural area. If my parents were Republican, I would have absolutely, I would be a MAGA Trumper right now, just based off of my conservative area. But I was fortunate enough to have parents who were moderate Democrats, and they taught me that you see both sides of the aisle. You don't vote solely based off of policy; you do character as well. Yeah. And Donald Trump has no policy or character, so it's made this election very easy for me. Kamala has both character and policies, so. I think our parents really do play such an important role in that. And speaking of, to all you parents listening in right now, your kids are watching you. Clearly, they're watching.
We're watching you.
We are watching you. So know that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much again for voting, and especially in Georgia, thank you for voting.
Yeah, no problem. My mom was not gonna. Not that, I mean, I'm an adult, like, but she's always like, you guys have to vote. You have to make your voice matter. And this one was this election is an extremely important one. So we can't just we can't play around with this. We can't.
Right. I mean, every time we say this election's so important, but like
this one's like, I mean, monumentally, like on a different level of importance.
Exactly.
So,
it's like it's like straight up whoever, I mean, even down to the core of, whoever wins will nominate at least one, if not two Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
Guys, if Trump has 5 fucking Supreme Court justices
that he himself appointed, I mean, we've already seen what the first, that first round did, and it's not it was not in our favor. Well, me being a woman for one, so.
Right. And listen, I want to get married someday, so if we cannot do this all
and you said you live in the state of Texas?
Pennsylvania.
Yep. Did you actually see that? It's not a federal thing, but did you see in the state of Tennessee that they just passed a bill that if you have an officiant for your wedding that does not agree with it's interracial marriage, same-sex marriage, and heterosexual. I'm not sure why it said heterosexual in the bill, but if your officiant does not agree with that,
they got to make it.
Yeah, right. But if your officiant does not agree with that you won't get married. But no, I mean, granted, you can find an officiant that agrees with that and that has no problem with it. But that's like a bill now in Tennessee.
I'll tell you now. All that's teaching me is that I got to go move to Tennessee, get registered to officiate weddings, and then deny every single heterosexual couple in officiation.
Yeah. I just don't understand it. Also, the guy that you had up a little while ago about, he said he came on, you kept muting him. It was so funny. He was talking through like you just muting him. But he came on and he instantly came in with Kamala Harris's father is a Marxist and he's a communist and he's okay, and Donald Trump's father was arrested at a Triple K rally back in the 70s, so that would make Donald Trump a Triple K member,
right? It's crazy to me how they gaslight like this, though, right? The same way that they can't, to be clear, when Donald Trump loses this race, in part it's going to be because of messaging. They have not focused on any policy. But then even the messaging based off a character, they can't stay steady with it. Kamala goes to every rally, every interview with the same messaging and the same points, because that's how a campaign should work. Donald Trump, for example, is saying that Kamala Harris is like under prosecuting, letting criminals run free. Then his supporters are running around saying that she's over prosecuting, locking everybody up.
I mean, which is completely, I mean, it's contradictory as hell.
Right. It's wrong. First off, that's not how being an attorney general works. But then 2, it's like, can you at least like pick a side?
I just appreciate research and education, and it's very, I mean, it's been made, these are things that can be researched and substantiated. Kamala Harris's policies are on her actual campaign website that can be, and I mean, it's about 60 plus pages of everything that you need to know about what her policies are and what they stand for.
Oh, somebody just commented, and this one guy is a Trumper, and he said, how about Biden calling us garbage? LOL, too funny. First off, Biden didn't. That was a misunderstanding. But I will call you garbage, Trump supporters. Trump supporters, my name is Johnny, and you are garbage. I hope I clarified that for you. Anyway, Gabrielle, sorry, I just wanted to make that clear.
You're fine.
Yeah, I didn't want him to think he wasn't garbage. Like, no, I wanted to let them know that these Trumpers are indeed garbage. I just wanted to make sure that they were aware of that. Anyway, my mama always taught me to be very specific.
If it's not directed, it's not respected.
Exactly.
I mean,
all right. I appreciate you coming up, Gabrielle.
Yeah, thank you for letting me up. You're so sweet and so cute. Also, awesome. Thank you.
Stop it. All right, you have a good one.
You too. Bye
bye. Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna get up one of my friends here with Santana. Santana, where are you? Let me get you up here, my friend. Guys, I was actually a singer in a past life. Not meaning to brag, but Just kidding. I can't sing for shit. Like, some people have talent, right? Some people are great with athletics. Some people are great with singing. My superpower, I can't cook, I can't sing, I can't act, but I can cough to the point of fainting. I have an inhaler, which is like my secret weapon. Santana, how you doing, man?
Johnny, good. I always worry about you when you start coughing, and especially like, you get into it and, trying to wrangle the MAGA people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Johnny, I worry.
I can't help it, man. Listen, I'm more than happy to trade lungs. So folks always ask, right? And they're like, Johnny, where did your hatred for Donald Trump start? And I'm like, his pandemic response. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, oh yeah. To everybody in the chat as well. So when folks are like, Johnny, you have like asthma or something. It wasn't like born asthma. I have lung damage, like as if somebody took my lungs and like went like this with them. And it's not from like smoking or something, guys. I've never done that in my life. Never done anything like that in my life. It is straight up from the pandemic, and I had a terrible response to having COVID. So, but we're here.
You know what? That's the thing that always blows my mind when I talk to people and they say, "Oh, it was just a cold. It was just, the flu." And I'm like, no, it not only unalived a lot of people, but left people with I know people who still don't have a sense of smell or taste to this day. So I mean, like it's a thing.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie though. When I went to a Trump rally a little while ago. I wouldn't mind not having a sense of smell. I mean, that shit's gross. Y'all ever been to a Trump rally? Do they not shower? Like they act like a bar of soap is $100.
Yeah, no. Well, I've been inside of like a stable, so I assume that it's pretty much the same. So
yep. So tell us why you're voting for Kamala.
Yeah, listen. So, there's a lot of things that I could say, and there's a couple of easy ways that I could take it. But the one thing that I will say is that one day I hope to have daughters, and I want to be an example, and not only want to be an example, but leave a place for them that's better than it was when I was here, right? And as we stand, women today don't have the same rights as 20, 30 years ago, and that's heartbreaking. So I say this all the time. I'm the youngest of five. I have four older sisters. I was raised by a single mother. Like I'm all about the ladies, right? And so that protection is why I'm doing it. But also, can we not kid ourselves and say, like, Kamala Harris is the most qualified candidate to ever seek the office of the presidency for a first term, like more than Barack Obama.
100%, yeah. No, I think that's what's so god awful annoying about this is that MAGA Republicans act like she's unqualified when she's far more qualified than anything we have had, like, ever. Like, what is this, man? She was district attorney, attorney general, and not just an attorney general, right? She wasn't attorney general of Rhode fucking Island or something. She was attorney general of the largest state in our nation, oversaw the most police in our nation. It's just come on.
No, she literally, I have literally watched her make Brett Kavanaugh and Bill Barr cry. Like, I have seen her completely stand up for the people. I've seen her perform at the highest level. And how can you not take a look at this exemplary woman and say she is not the right person to put in office, especially over, Mango Mussolini.
But then they also talk about, right, like they try to gaslight us. They talk about like Kamala Harris and California, blah blah blah. California has the 5th largest economy in the world. They're gonna smack talk California when on the other hand you got JD Vance fucking couches in Ohio. You don't want to talk about that? Like, what is the?
Well, it's easy to point to big cities, and I live in a big city as well. And is it perfect? No, but I've lived in big cities. I've lived in rural, small towns, and the access and ability to do many things versus being in that small town, it's not even comparable. So I would much rather be in a California versus being in Ohio, because at least I know not only are those local government officials going to attempt to take care of you, but you're going to have a more opportunity to progress versus some of the other areas. So
right, yeah. We're going to win this thing though.
Yeah. Listen, I've been telling people this. I have some thoughts, and I'll shoot them to you. I don't like saying stuff out loud, but I've been like fussing at people.
Don't say it out loud, man. The last time I said a thought out loud, no, don't do it. Last time it got stolen right from a worst. Say that. just keep them up here, make them happen.
Johnny, I'm telling you, it's like I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm just gonna keep my head down and keep doing what I'm doing. Listen, you said something earlier, and I'm super excited to hear when you do your tally and talk about like the conversion rate.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a thing. That's been like a real thing that I've noticed. So like even on my side, I've had a couple of people who literally come back and say, you know what, I was going to vote for Trump, but I just can't. And it's one thing moving from Trump to not voting, but moving from Trump to voting for Kamala, that's like the best feeling. It's just amazing.
Right. And there's also like that. I don't know. People should be proud of that because like our country was meant to be this bridge between both sides, if not all sides. And, when you have Kamala Harris, who's building this umbrella party where she welcomes everybody to the community, then you have Donald Trump, who actively promotes like blatant segregation, separating himself from any. I mean, he is running on one individual, and it's the white, rich, Christian man.
Yeah.
That is it. If you are not that, you don't fit into his bracket.
That's
and so it's nice to see that Kamala's taken America with her, and Donald Trump can take the white Christian rich men to jail with him when he heads off. But
I tell people this all the time, people on the other side, I say, you know what, if Kamala Harris wins the office of presidency, then she will be a president for all of the United States. She will be a president for you. Donald Trump wins, he's only going to govern for the people that voted for him, and he's going to look out for his best interests. So there's a huge discrepancy as far as what happens when, certain people win. So it's, and like you said, we're supposed to be the shining city on the hill. Like, how can we do that if we're not accepting of all people and we're trying to lift all people up? So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah,
good to always hear from you and see you.
Absolutely. Are you heading out to party or like I see you got your
Oh no, the Halloween costume was for everybody in our community. So Tashika and I did a thing. You got my thing.
I know. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
it's
but
okay. I got crushed. Oh, you're sorry? Do you want to battle? You want to battle? You want to talk about sorry? Yeah, that's what I thought. So
listen, I was I might have been spamming like a bunch of stuff on her side.
Yeah, I know.
Just that one time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Next time I got your back though.
Yeah, But anyway, I was hoping for Timmy Turner, like Mike Wazowski or something. I ended up getting Wednesday Addams, so we went with like a guy Wednesday Addams vibe.
Yeah.
Because I was not shaving my beard, but it's fine. We got Thing. Speaking of, anybody want to drop a 50? You get a whole hour with Thing. Do whatever you want with it.
Listen, I heard.
That's
I heard you say.
Oh my gosh. Santana, I think you. There you go.
I heard you say it earlier, and I was trying to get to my Venmo, but I couldn't do it quick enough because someone sent it before me. So I was like, I guess I missed out.
That's too funny, man. I can't.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
We got such a funny community. All right, man. Good to hear from you. I hope you're having a great Halloween.
Likewise. Yeah. You too. I'll catch you later.
Alrighty, folks. You guys want to see something funny? Hold on. I'm gonna show you something funny. Hi, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Yes, sir.
Ew! Oh my gosh. Woo! Oh my gosh. Alrighty, folks. On that note, I think we're going to pack it up. We might come back later tonight, but I think we're going to pack it up and call it a night. If you like what you heard today, first off, I want to say a massive thank you to Chastity. Thank you so much for the love on Venmo. Thank you, Michelle, for the $50 on Venmo. Michelle, that is beyond kind. Thank you so much for the love. And Cruz as well. Thank you for the $1 on Venmo. Said voted today here in Texas. W Texas in the chat, please. Folks, I want to say a massive thank you. First off to our mods. who took the time today to keep the chat clean. Also, a massive thank you to everybody who came up and spoke your truth. Not the Trump supporters, certainly not thank them, because they really just spoke nothing but their own delusions. And then also thank you to everybody who supported me today, whether on Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I mean, those funds go right towards my travel as I run across the swing state of Pennsylvania, meeting voters, including one voter yesterday. Oh my gosh. I got to tell you about this voter I met yesterday. I guess she's like running for president or something. I think her name was, I don't remember. I think her name was Kamala. That's what it was. Can't wait to make her our president. But folks, anyhow, we'll be back on tomorrow, if not again later tonight. Are you folks doing anything to end your night? Are you folks, I know it's Halloween, so I hope you all are eating candy. Anybody eating candy? Any of y'all doing anything good? I have a bag of Twizzlers with my name on it. Candy and movie day. That sounds good. Eating chicken. Well, chicken could be considered a candy, I guess. In a way. No, it's not a candy. Sorry, I try to work with you on that one. Chicken ain't a candy. All right, eating cough drops. You and me both. I'm eating my inhaler like it's candy. Oh my gosh. Butterfingers, Oreos. Oh, I have Oreos in my cabinet. Oh, and they're mega stuffed. Oh, I'm going to get those Oreos. Thank you for the reminder. Alrighty, folks. I hope that y'all have a great night. I'll see you either later again tonight or tomorrow if not. Have a good one.